in a world that loves to talk, where every accomplishment is posted, every move is broadcasted, and every idea is shared, there is great power in silence. We live in an age where to do is to display, where to accomplish is to announce. But let me suggest this: there is wisdom in walking quietly, in keeping your work hidden, and in letting your results speak for themselves. Too often we make the mistake of telling the world what we're doing, and in doing so, we forfeit the power that silence holds. In a world obsessed with announcements and public declarations, the quiet worker holds a distinct power. When you choose to let your actions speak for themselves, you open the door to a kind of respect that cannot be gained through empty promises or boastful words. Actions, when done with intention, carry more weight than any speech. They don't need an introduction or an explanation. They stand on their own merit. It's in the quiet completion of a task that the value is revealed. People may not always understand the journey, but they will always see the result. This is the power of letting your work shine, without the need for a verbal spotlight. In the absence of constant explanations, there's room for mystery and admiration. When you reveal little of your plans, others are forced to notice the transformation instead of the process. They witness success and wonder how it came about, but they do not have the opportunity to question your methods. People are drawn to results, not intentions, and it's the end product that earns respect. The more you speak of what you're doing, the more you invite unnecessary scrutiny. Let your actions be the narrative. It's much harder for someone to dismiss your results when they've watched you silently make them a reality. Moreover, when you let your work stand for itself, you remove the burden of validation from your shoulders. You no longer seek approval through words, but rather you earn it through accomplishment. The beauty of silence is that it invites others to come to their own conclusions. They will see your effort, your diligence, and the fruit of your labor, and they will respect you for what they can observe, not for what you've promised. This respect is far more meaningful than the fleeting praise that comes from telling others in advance what you plan to do. And yet, there is also a deeper beauty in this quiet approach. It frees you from the distraction of external opinions. When you reveal too much of your process, you risk inviting criticism before the journey is complete. There's no space for doubt to grow when others know nothing of your efforts. By keeping quiet, you protect the integrity of your work. You are less likely to be swayed by the doubts of others because they have no input, no commentary, and no opportunity to disrupt your course. The clarity that comes from working in silence is unmatched. Finally, there's a profound sense of peace that comes with doing and not telling. There is no constant need to defend your choices or explain your methods. The peace you find in this quiet confidence is priceless. You are free to create without concern for approval, free to pursue your goals without the noise of comparison. Your actions will speak for you, and when they do, they will speak volumes. When you tell people what you're doing, you expose your heart to misinterpretation. No matter how carefully you explain your motives, there is always room for others to misunderstand the true reason behind your actions. The more you speak, the more you open the door for assumptions, projections, and judgments. People see the surface, but they cannot see the depths of your heart, your struggle, or the sacrifice behind your decisions. By revealing too much, you invite others to place their own biases onto your intentions, and this will often lead to misrepresentation. Human nature is such that we are quick to judge, quick to assign motives to others, without fully understanding their circumstances or inner battles. The moment you speak about your plans, you give others an opportunity to view them through their own lens of experience and bias. What you intended as a gesture of kindness could be seen as something self-serving. What you thought was a good deed might be misconstrued as seeking attention. People will twist and turn your words in ways that serve their own narrative, not yours. The more you explain, the more you risk the chance of being misunderstood. In truth, the less you say, the less room you give others to form opinions about your motivations. When you keep your actions quiet, their meaning is left up to the observer. Instead of speaking about what you plan to do, simply do it, and let your actions reveal the true heart behind them. The less others know about your journey, the less they can corrupt it with their own thoughts. The beauty of this silence is that it protects the purity of your intention from the contamination of others' misunderstandings. Moreover, people's inability to fully comprehend your purpose can become a weight upon your spirit. It can be exhausting to constantly defend your actions, to explain why you did this or why you chose that path. Every word you speak in defense takes away from the energy that could be spent moving forward in your mission. Letting others speak over you, interpret you, and question your every decision only drains your resolve. It's not that you cannot answer. Sometimes it's that you are better off remaining silent, letting your work stand without the need for defense. And while misunderstanding is unavoidable, silence gives you the freedom to remain unaffected by it. When you let your intentions remain hidden, you also protect yourself from the emotional turmoil that comes with being judged. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth or purpose. You simply show it. In silence, there is a power that keeps your heart unshaken. Your peace is no longer dependent on others' opinions, and your strength is no longer drained by their misunderstandings. As you move forward, remember that people will always find something to misinterpret. But you don't have to clarify, explain, or prove yourself. The only one who truly knows your heart is the one who sees in the quiet spaces. When your actions speak for you, they will transcend the noise of misunderstanding. Let your work be the voice that communicates your true purpose. Let your intentions remain untouched by the passing judgments of others, for they cannot fully understand the depth of your heart. There is an undeniable power in quiet persistence, an unspoken resilience that works behind the scenes, unseen by the world. The woman who keeps her actions to herself often finds that doors open without the need for loud petitions or frantic efforts. While others clamor for attention and push for opportunities, she waits, trusting that the right paths will emerge in their own time. Her silence is not inaction. It is a confident waiting, a knowing that things will fall into place without the need to force them. She has learned the art of patience, of doing the work without broadcasting it, of planting seeds without shouting about the harvest to come. What others fail to realize is that doors open to those who do not chase them. The more you talk about your desires and ambitions, the more you risk revealing your insecurity. The woman who walks in quiet confidence, who keeps her plans close to her chest, attracts opportunities in unexpected ways. There is a natural magnetism in the subtle, a pull that cannot be manufactured. By speaking less, she invites others to notice the results of her work rather than the noise of her pursuit. And in doing so, opportunities come effortlessly, as if the universe itself conspires to reward her quiet labor. When a door opens for her, it does not open because she demanded it, but because she earned it through quiet determination. The waiting period is not a time of inactivity, but of trust in the unseen forces that work in her favor. She does not waste her time trying to manipulate circumstances or force her way through obstacles. Instead, she remains steady in her work, knowing that the right opportunities will reveal themselves when the time is right. She does not need to speak about what she is doing. She only needs to remain faithful to the process, knowing that the doors will open in their own time. There is also an elegance to this quiet approach. In a world of constant noise, where everyone is shouting about their next move, the woman who remains silent becomes an enigma. People are drawn to her because they sense that she is different, that she is not desperate for validation or approval. Her confidence does not scream, it whispers. And in that whisper, opportunities emerge because others want to be part of something bigger, something quiet yet powerful. There is an allure in mystery, and it is in this mystery that doors swing open. Even in the face of rejection, the silent worker does not lose heart. She knows that closed doors are not a sign of failure, but a redirection. She does not fight against the closed door, for she trusts that there is another door waiting for her, one that will open at the right moment. Her patience and calmness in the face of rejection make her unshakable. She knows that every no brings her closer to a yes that is better suited for her journey. And so she continues forward, doing her work in silence, knowing that the right doors will open without her pushing them. What is often missed in the noise of constant self-promotion is that the real doors are opened by the right people at the right time. The woman who remains silent allows the right connections to form organically. When the time comes, the right people will find her, not because she has been shouting her name, but because her quiet work has attracted them. They will see her dedication, her sincerity, and her results. And that is what will draw them in. The open doors are not a product of desperation, but a result of trust and quiet perseverance. There is a strength in knowing that you do not have to announce every step, every decision, or every success. You do not have to chase after every opportunity or knock on every door. The woman who understands this secret walks with a quiet authority, knowing that the doors she needs will open without her needing to force them. When they do, they open wide, and they open at the right time, because she has been faithful in her silence, in her work, and in her trust. This confidence is not arrogance. It is the quiet trust in the process of life. The woman who keeps her plans private has learned to move with the rhythm of the universe, knowing that each step, each action is being guided in ways she may not see. She does not need to broadcast her moves. She simply trusts that the right doors will open at the right time as a result of her steadfast commitment to the path she is walking. One of the most remarkable truths of walking in silence is the unspoken strength it offers. While others may boast of their power, their influence, or their ability to defeat their opponents, the woman who speaks little and moves with purpose finds that her enemies often fall without her ever having to raise her voice. She does not need to engage in battles or confrontations, for the very nature of her quiet resolve dismantles the forces that oppose her. She moves in such a way that her mere presence unsettles her adversaries, and without lifting a finger, she sees them fade into the background. In this world, there are those who thrive on confrontation, who believe that the loudest and most forceful win. But there is a different kind of power, one that does not need to prove itself through loud declarations or physical altercations. The woman who remains silent understands that true strength lies in her ability to remain steadfast, unwavering, and focused. She knows that the most effective way to defeat her enemies is not through direct conflict, but through maintaining her composure, her integrity, and her sense of purpose. In this quiet strength, her enemies find no foothold, no way to challenge her. The power of this silent resistance cannot be overstated. It is the kind of strength that forces those who oppose her to reveal their own weaknesses, their own insecurities. While they spend their energy trying to tear her down, she continues on her path, unbothered and undistracted. Her success, her quiet determination, and her ability to remain unshaken are the weapons that disarm her enemies. They cannot touch her, for she is not playing the same game they are. Her power is in her ability to remain peaceful in the face of chaos, to continue forward while others are busy trying to drag her into a battle. This form of silent victory is not the result of passive submission, but of an active, resolute strength. The woman who walks in silence is not weak or afraid. She is simply wise enough to know that some battles are not worth fighting. She does not waste her energy on those who do not understand her. Her energy is reserved for her purpose, her mission, and her work. As a result, those who oppose her grow weary in their effort to themselves out, while she remains steady and unaffected, moving forward with a sense of purpose that they cannot disrupt. Her enemies may try to create conflict, but they find that their efforts are futile. They may spread rumors or attempt to undermine her, but in doing so they only expose their own flaws and insecurities. The more they push, the more they reveal their inability to affect her. Her silence becomes her shield. It forces them to confront their own pettiness, their own jealousy, and their own limitations. They may attempt to make her the subject of their attacks, but she remains untouched, like a tree standing firm in a storm, unmoved by the wind. This silence is also a testament to the woman's inner peace. She does not allow her enemies to disturb her tranquility. While they may try to disrupt her life, she remains anchored in her purpose. Her calmness is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of inner strength. She knows that by staying true to her course, by remaining steadfast in her values, she will outlast the noise and the distractions. Her enemies cannot stand against this quiet force, for it is based in something far deeper than the fleeting battles of the moment. As her enemies fail to make a dent, they begin to turn on each other. Without her engaging in conflict, they are left to fight amongst themselves. Her silent strength exposes the frailty of their own tactics. The more they try to pull her into their drama, the more they unravel their own integrity. In this, she becomes untouchable. Not because she is above them, but because she refuses to play the game they want her to play. She knows that peace, not war, will win the day. The woman who remains silent does not need to defend herself, because her character, her work, and her actions speak louder than any words she could ever say. In this silence she builds a reputation not through boasting, but through consistency and integrity. She does not need to declare her worth. Her actions already have. Those who oppose her are left to watch as she quietly rises, unbothered by their attempts to slow her down. Their defeat comes not through confrontation, but through their own inability to shake her resolve. In this quiet victory, the woman discovers that strength is not always in what is said, but in what is not said. It is not always in the fight, but in the refusal to engage in it. Her enemies fall, not because she fights, but because they fail to understand the depth of her quiet power. The more they attack, the more they reveal their own weaknesses, while she remains steady, unshaken, and unscathed. And as she continues on her path, she realizes that her enemy's fall is inevitable. They cannot touch her, not because she is invulnerable, but because she is grounded in something far stronger than their attempts to tear her down. She has learned the secret of silent strength. When you remain focused, calm, and unwavering, the forces that oppose you will eventually fade away, leaving you to walk your path in peace. In a world where everyone is clamoring for attention, where success is often measured by how loudly you can shout your achievements, there is a rare power in letting success find you quietly, in the shadows. The woman who walks silently, whose work speaks louder than her words, often finds that success is drawn to her in ways that others can't see or understand. While others are busy broadcasting their every move, she remains focused on the task at hand, knowing that true success doesn't require fanfare, it only requires results. Success, when it comes without the noise of constant self-promotion, is much sweeter. The woman who remains humble, whose every step is a quiet testament to her dedication, doesn't need validation from the outside world. She doesn't need a stage or an audience to recognize her worth. Success for her is an internal marker of progress, a personal victory that is earned through quiet persistence. While others may be chasing recognition, she is simply doing the work, and in doing so, success naturally gravitates toward her. This quiet success does not come from looking for shortcuts or immediate rewards. It is not the result of flashy efforts or hasty decisions. The woman who thrives in the shadows understands that real success is built over time. Through consistent effort, careful planning, and unwavering focus, she understands that what is worth having takes time to cultivate, and so she labors without expectation of instant result. She knows that the quieter the path, the more meaningful the success will be when it arrives. In the absence of constant outward display, her work stands as a true reflection of her capabilities. She is not chasing after success, rather she is creating it. Her dedication to her craft, her ability to work without needing constant praise, and her focus on long-term goals allow success to come to her naturally. Those who may not have seen her efforts or understood her quiet commitment will be surprised when they see the heights she has reached. For success does not hide in loudness. It grows silently in the roots of hard work. The woman who succeeds in silence often enjoys a different kind of success, one that is deeply rooted in her own sense of fulfillment. She does not seek external applause or affirmation. Her success is the result of a personal journey, one where she measures her growth against her own standards, not the ever-shifting expectations of others. This internal definition of success frees her from the pressure to perform for an audience. It allows her to move at her own pace, without rushing or feeling the need to prove herself to anyone but herself. Even in moments when others are achieving similar milestones, the woman who walks silently does not compare herself. Her success is not defined by the success of others, nor is it dependent on how much recognition she gets. It is rooted in the quiet satisfaction of knowing that she has done the work, that she has remained focused, and that she has accomplished what she set out to do. This understanding of success is freeing. It allows her to move forward without the weight of comparison or competition holding her back. Moreover, her success is often less burdened by the distractions that come with seeking constant validation. The more attention you draw to your efforts, the more vulnerable you become to the opinions and criticisms of others. When you allow success to come quietly, without announcing every move, you protect your work from unnecessary scrutiny. You shield yourself from the noise of judgment, allowing you to focus solely on the next step, the next goal, and the next challenge. This single-minded focus creates a kind of unstoppable momentum that builds steadily over time. As she moves through life, success begins to find her in unexpected ways. The opportunities she didn't seek out arrive at her doorstep. The people she didn't advertise her capabilities to begin to notice her. And when success finally shows itself, it does so in the most authentic and rewarding form. It doesn't come as a result of excessive work or self-promotion. It arrives simply because she has consistently put in the effort, made the right choices, and stayed true to herself. In the shadows, where she quietly moves forward, success is not loud, but it is certain. The world may never fully understand how she reached the height she has, but that is precisely the beauty of it. Her success doesn't come with a story of struggle that needs to be told, or a victory that needs to be celebrated. It speaks for itself through the work she has done, the progress she has made, and the life she has built. In the silence, her success is its own testimony. In time, the woman who works in silence and waits for success to come finds that it is far more rewarding than the noise of constant striving. It is a success that is deeply rooted in her personal integrity, her quiet determination, and her ability to remain focused on what truly matters. While others may struggle to shout over the noise, she moves gracefully forward, confident that success will find her in the shadows. The woman who remains silent in her actions often becomes a beacon to others, even when she isn't trying to lead. Her quiet strength, her subtle confidence, and her unwavering focus on her purpose create a light that draws others to her, sometimes without her even realizing it. People are naturally attracted to someone who moves with such purpose, someone who doesn't boast or make noise about their journey. Her presence becomes an example of what it means to be grounded, to be true to oneself, and to follow a path of quiet integrity. She may not speak loudly, but her life speaks volumes. What others fail to see is that this kind of influence is not born out of force or manipulation. It is born from her own personal journey, one of growth, reflection, and self-discovery. The woman who walks in silence does not do so for the purpose of impressing others or gaining followers. Instead, she walks in silence because she knows that her path is her own, and she does not need the approval of others to walk it. But in doing so, she inadvertently becomes a source of inspiration, a symbol of strength for those around her. Her consistency and resilience become the things others admire most. When people see a woman who is steady, who continues on her path regardless of the circumstances, they are drawn to her not by her words but by her actions. They see her handle adversity with grace, tackle challenges with persistence, and remain calm in the face of chaos. In doing so, they begin to understand that strength doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes the most powerful people are those who never say a word. They let their lives do all the talking, and in this way they inspire others to do the same. The quiet strength she embodies becomes a silent guide for others to follow. What's more, her example does not need to be highlighted or pointed out for others to notice it. People observe her from a distance, seeing how she moves through life with such purpose, and they instinctively know that there is something different about her. The woman who walks silently does not need to broadcast her character, her strength, or her values. It is evident in the way she carries herself. It is felt in the way she makes others feel, safe, steady, and calm. She becomes a refuge in a world full of noise, a place of stability for those seeking direction. This quiet leadership is often far more effective than the loud proclamations of others. People are not drawn to someone because they talk about how strong or wise they are. They are drawn to someone who shows it through their actions. The woman who is silent yet strong attracts people not because of what she says, but because of the way she lives her life. She becomes a model of self-control, a demonstration of what it means to move through the world with purpose and grace. This silent power is magnetic, and it pulls others into her orbit, where they can learn from her example. She continues on her journey. She unknowingly shapes the lives of those around her. People begin to notice the calm confidence with which she handles life's difficulties. They watch how she approaches challenges, not with panic or haste, but with patience and thoughtfulness. In this, they begin to recognize that this is the kind of person they want to be. Someone who doesn't need to shout to be heard. Someone who doesn't need to prove their worth to the world, because their actions speak louder than any words could. The woman who walks in silence creates a ripple effect. Her calmness spreads to others. Her peacefulness becomes contagious. In a world filled with chaos and constant movement, her stillness is a stark contrast. People are naturally drawn to it, because it offers them something they are often lacking: peace. They begin to see that they don't need to be constantly in motion, always doing, always talking. They see that it is possible to take a step back, to slow down, and to let things unfold naturally, just as she does. As her influence spreads, people begin to follow her lead. They no longer look for validation in the noise and the busyness of life. Instead, they seek quiet spaces where they can think, reflect, and grow. Her silence teaches them that sometimes the most profound lessons come not from what we hear, but from what we observe. They learn that success, peace, and fulfillment come not from the hustle, but from the ability to walk steadily, quietly, and with purpose. In this way, the woman who walks silently becomes more than just a role model. She becomes a source of inspiration. She shows others that true strength is found in being who you are, without needing to prove it to anyone. She teaches them the power of patience, of persistence, and of remaining calm in the face of challenges. She becomes a living example of the truth that you don't need to make noise to be powerful. You just need to be consistent, faithful and true to your path. Her influence is also lasting. The people who are drawn to her, who learn from her quiet ways, carry those lessons with them. They, in turn, become beacons of light to others. The woman who walks in silence ignites a chain reaction of quiet strength, spreading far beyond her own actions. As more and more people learn from her example, the ripple effect grows, creating a wave of calm and clarity in a world that desperately needs it. And the most beautiful part of this quiet leadership is that it never diminishes. It does not fade with time or with external recognition. The woman who remains steadfast and true to her purpose continues to inspire others long after the world has forgotten the details of her story. Her legacy is not built on fame or accolades, but on the quiet, consistent impact she has had on the lives of those around her. She becomes a lasting example of what it means to be truly strong, truly capable, and truly at peace.